Just want to start out with a congratulations to those out there who have learned about the technicals from me and were able to absolutely crush it yesterday with the day trading. You guys know I teach that twice a week in my Discord. And of course, yes, I know the market's Mo. I want to know about crypto. I want to know about stocks. Folks, it was ugly. It was ugly with a capital UG. That was bad. And of course, in the after hours, you had more statements being thrown out. We're talking about the tariffs, the rare earth minerals, all this and more. Folks, buckle up. It looks like we are going to have some volatility. Or are we? Or are we? I want to know right now, if you're watching this, did you sell? Did you sell? Let's be honest. Did you sell? Are you getting out? Or did you buy? Or are you just holding? Don't tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what you actually did. And be honest, because history will prove you right or wrong. History's already proven me. I took a little extra buying. I ended up doing a couple day trades and crushing it. They were fantastic. I added a little bit of some ETHU on at the end, and that did not fare well with another report coming out from the government. It's craziness out there. So we're going to talk about all this and more. But with all the negativity, I thought we could start with some positives, because I did, like I said, the day trading I thought was pretty easy for anybody that learns from me. Jordan, shout out to you. Fubar, shout out. Renko, let's go. iBeach, yes. Matt in the house. What else we got going on here? iBeach with more. Red Capper, let's go. BB, I love seeing it. Zen Zillions, hopefully making zillions. CJ, Brandon in the house. What do we got here? My first ever Grand Slam. Thank you for teaching me on how to be free. It is all about that. Let's check out this one. Yeah, I love it. I love seeing 100% moves on plays that people can make. Front and options, one of our expert traders in there. So if you guys aren't in here, you got a chance, and it expires on shortly. We only had a couple days with this, but two things. One, you got code MOON if you want to save 50% off your first month, right? And you can just sign up. It should be automatic, and we're actually getting rid of it, and we're raising the prices by 40%. So anybody that gets in ahead of time, you're grandfathered in. You don't have to pay the increase. You're grandfathered in. And you get 50% off your first month. But the biggest thing I got, and this is the first time we ever offered a 20% discount on annual pass here on Patreon, click this button. There's no codes or anything, but once you click it, look how low it goes. Remember, the normal month's going up by 40%. So you can get dirt cheap prices on an annual membership, but this goes away too. We're only doing it for a couple of days and then finished. And you can see it expires on the 15th, so we're down to 4 days left. So take advantage today before it is done. Now, we'll go right to the portfolio. I know some of you guys like 65K. Look, I got to be blunt with you. The after hours made it worse, but that's not in here. I started at 2231 plus 100,000 I already locked up at the crypto. So this one's up 143,000 plus the 100,000 at the other one. So I'm still up 200 and about $250,000. And that's in the last 10 weeks, even with the sell-off. So yes, I know it's ugly, but it could have been uglier. And of course, this is one of them events you just don't expect. You don't expect to see what happened yesterday happen. It just shows the power of a social media post and how a trade war can absolutely upset everything. Tariff talk, all this and more. Now, my personal opinion, I had a lot of people calling me. A couple of things. One, here was my just in case TMF, TLT, and T-bill. Look at them all. So they made me about $14,000, but I was still down 60. In other words, that's my just in case something bad happens, and I probably should have had about 200,000 or 300,000, but I had 700,000 in these as a just in case a black swan event happens. And today, or I should say yesterday, I consider that event to be a black swan event. That's one that you can't predict, you don't expect. But man, out of nowhere, saying we're going to do 100% tariffs on starting November 1st or before on China, and all goods on top of tariffs are already there. Wow. It's next level stuff. And then China with the threat of the rare earth minerals, it's craziness. So you can see how bad everything was. You can see how it is. So much for Uptober, right? I'm holding. I'm just gonna hold. I'm gonna hold throughout, and I'll set some bottom lines, and we'll go over that over the next few days. That if it gets to those points, I'll say, okay, enough's enough. But I got a little bit of house money I'm playing with, about $250,000. We're gonna see if we can turn it into more. I did add on USAR. Added on some USAR. You guys can see this right here, and added it in yesterday. And the timing, I thought I was getting a decent, but now the good news is this thing absolutely, I believe, ripped like a champ in the after hours. We can pull that up. Let me see here, because they'll have that there. Yeah, there it is. So it might be down 7, but it did rip in the after hours, 9.48. In other words, good news there. That's good news. So we'll see how that goes. At one point, it was way up. I think this stock's going to do some magical things. If the issue that we're seeing between the two governments is rare earth minerals, you want to take a look at some of these, like MP Materials, USA Rare Earth. So you got USAR, you got MP. I like it. I like it. And so I'm looking at more, because if this is going to grow into a bigger thing, these companies could absolutely explode higher. And I already know some of them have been exploding. We talked about it on my live stream before all this happened, before the run. You guys had a chance. So it's up to you what you do. But I did add that one on. Let's go ahead and take a look at oh my goodness. Let's take a look at the candles for XRP first. And every time I see these, it just blows my mind. Look at this. Look at this wick down. So the wick down, let's just pull this up so everybody can see it. You guys need to see this. Look at this. It hit right down where we were, right here, right here. So it hit the same zone that if you bought it at that zone, if you jumped in, you had the intestinal fortitude to put a limit order at, say, $1.77, $1.78. I'm telling you, folks, we're back up to 233. You made 50-something cents that quick, or about 30% on your money in the same day. Now, the $1 million question, and I told you guys I'd make up my mind if we lost this line here on a confirmation. I don't want to have to make up my mind when we're down at, and remember, I told you this is open air. This is open air down to that support. Once you lose this, I said it becomes open air, and open air is what it becomes. And that's bad. Now, the good news is we have major support pushing us way back up. I know some people got their orders filled down there. I know in the Discord, a lot of them, we had major discussions going on amongst a lot of members about what they're doing. And I'm just curious, are you buying, you selling, you holding? I ended up adding on. It might end up biting me, but you guys know I'm pure crypto. I like that. We go to ETH. And of course, now before I go to ETH, the 513 both crossed to 50. I gave you warnings way back here. Told you it was bearish. Did not expect. Now, this is a different event. This isn't your normal coming down to support and then bouncing up. This broke finally. This finally broke right here, the 270 something. Then broke the 257. Then now you're breaking the Bollinger Band. Then you got all the way back down to the open air of $1.77. Now, the good news for anybody who's in XRP or getting more, you just cleared all the leverage. Anybody who was getting washed out, getting margin called, they got margin called. Everybody piles into the shorts then. So any kind of rebound, and I expect a V-shaped recovery on this, it would be a great opportunity. And what I mean by that is that you could have this could be the takeoff once everything's settled. Now, you're not going to have a takeoff with two major economies, the top two economies in the world, having a tariff war. So there needs to be a little bit of backpedaling. There needs to be a little bit of discussion, some agreements. But the RSI, the Bollinger Bands, everything, you guys can see it's popping up and going off. We're about 75 or 25 on the RSI on the daily candles, which means oversold. So we're there. How low does it go? I don't know. I'm expecting Monday to be a little bit wild. And in that case, I don't mean a major sell-off. What I mean is I think it's probably going to open up by the end of the day. We'll be heading up from wherever we're at. It doesn't mean we're going to be green for the day. It means we're going to have our lows for the day within the first hour and then work our way up. Doesn't mean we're going to be green for the day, though. I'll tell you that. This weekend can do anything. Now, move over to Ethereum. This one burnt me a little bit. And when I look at this, because I had that ETHU, you have the 13 now crossing the 50. And that can lead to more problems. Now, the surprising thing, we're only a little bit below the 38 at 37.43. We lost that, though. Remember what I told you? If we lose that, I have to make up my mind what I'm going to do. Well, I'm stuck. I can't even do anything if I wanted to. I told you I'd de-risk if we confirmed underneath there. Well, this is confirmation right here. And I can't do anything about it. You guys know why? Obviously, I am in ETFs. In ETFs, you can't do anything. Not during the regular. That's the downside of buying stocks. 9:30 to 4, Monday through Friday. If you got crypto, you can go ahead and swing trade to your heart's content. I cannot do that. So I'm in it. I'm in it with you. I'll make up my mind next week what I'm doing. Basically, though, I am looking at this $3,400 mark. That's about 10% down from where we are. That's kind of my big line. We lose that, I'd have to make some hard decisions. And that's where you kind of say, I got to take the loss. We'll wait for a confirmation back up. Then I have plans for that too. So I got a lot of plans for everything I'm doing. Like I said, I'm trying to turn that 2 into a 10, and I think I can do it. But man, oh man, these sell-offs are no fun. I do believe it's going to be a V-shaped recovery personally, and I am going to invest into it like that. But the problem is everybody would say, why don't you just hold, which I might, because here's the other thing. I don't know how low we're going to go. So if you lose certain support levels, that's where you have that open error where you can run all the way down, all right? So I think you lose 34, you're going down to roughly, and you can see this plain as day, just right in this zone, right in there. And that's the problem. So if we lose that, then you're looking at that 29 something. And I got to be blunt, I did not expect to lose that. Bitcoin, the leader of all, holding up, we're not even as low as we were 2 weeks ago. So I'm surprised, but not surprised. In other words, Bitcoin's holding up like a champ. It's at 111. I know what you're going to say. Well, it was at 130, 125, I mean. Yeah, but a 10%, 11, 12% drop. We'll see if we can hold, and here's the number, 108. 108. We confirm below 108. That makes me have to make some hard decisions. I already told you that too. So I will continue to watch. Right now, fingers crossed, we got some calmness, but remember, I trade these lines, and these lines are not looking super promising. We'll find out how much selling goes on over the next few days, but the lines are there, and if I lose those, I got to make the tough decision. Oof. Subscribe down below, follow along, see what happens. Right now, I'm still a net buyer. And we'll go from there. I am kind of glad I got rid of this right here, though. You guys remember I had over $1 million, I think, at one point. So this getting hit real bad, that cost me 15 G's, where it could have cost me 50,000 G's, or 50 G's. And thankfully, I didn't. And so we got that going for us. And like I said, a little bit of the just in case money paid off today. Even though I'm still down, it could have been a lot worse if I was all in $2.5 million in a 5% down. That would have been $125,000 gone instead of just 65. So everything's kind of working the way I want it to, even though I'm not pleased with the red, but we'll see. Let me know what you think down below. We'll go from there. And more importantly, folks, you don't have to do this by yourself. Get over to the membership. Get into the Discord before the price change. You got 3 days left. There you go. Earner tier, code MOON, get you in for the first month. 50% off, which is 25. Or, and this is the best deal, do the membership, because this is going away in just a couple of days. Get your annual membership now. You'll be in there with us for the year. It's the cheapest way to do it. All right, folks, that's the update. I appreciate you stopping by. I will see you in the Discord. Be sure to like and subscribe. Now let's get out there and make some money.